Venom: The Last Dance ends Tom Hardy's Sony Marvel franchise, and I believe it has the potential to be the best Venom movie yet. Hardy is responsible for the two successes in Sony's Spider-Man universe. Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage did well at the box office and with fans, while Morbius and Madam Web failed to impress. I'm hopeful that The Last Dance will be another fun entry in Hardy's franchise, serving as a possible example of what the future Marvel movies in the SSU should aspire to be like.
That's bait.
Sadly, The Last Dance will be the final Venom movie for Hardy. I hope that does not mean that the actor will never play Eddie Brock again, as his short stint in the MCU in the post-credit scenes of Venom Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home was not enough for him in that franchise. That said, I want Sony to have developed this film as if it did, because Hardy deserves to see his Venom franchise go out with the largest pop it can, and I think The Last Dance's story will back that up. The first trailer for Venom: The Last Dance was exactly what I expected from a fun perspective. I believe that Morbius and Madam Web, the SSU's other non-Venom releases so far, failed due to taking themselves too seriously, among other talked about problems. I don't see the Venom franchise making that same mistake, with Hardy's Sony Marvel movies being the only ones in the SSU to lean into dumb fun. Case in point, the Venom horse scene in the first Last Dance trailer. It is hilarious and perfectly over the top, leaning into the "it looks cool" factor.
And I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Sometimes, that is all a superhero movie needs. That said, I think those aspects work best when they are paired just right with the heartfelt emotion, creating a perfect balance unlike what was seen in Thor: Love and Thunder. From what I've seen of the film in the trailer, I'm hopeful that balance has been found within the film. Aside from the Venom franchise's hilarious situations, I was glad to see that The Last Dance seems to have a very somber tone in parts, leaving me questioning what is waiting for its lead characters in the end. I think the reason for the darker tone in the movie is that Venom: The Last Dance will have a bittersweet ending. The trailer revealed that the film will feature the most dangerous adventure for Eddie Brock and Venom yet, with the symbiote's home coming to Earth. What that means is The Last Dance should offer the biggest exploration of Venom's origin in the SSU yet. The symbiote comes from the planet Clintar, which is the home of all the symbiotes that were created by one of the biggest Marvel comic villains of recent years, Null. I don't think Null will appear in The Last Dance, but I'm still hopeful for a proper adaptation of his arc with Venom and Thor in the MCU. However, Venom: The Last Dance should feature multiple symbiotes as shown in the trailer, and what appears to be the live-action debut of the Xenophages, creatures from the Marvel comics who feed on symbiote brains. There is a moment in the trailer that sees Venom say to Brock, "Eddie, the time has come." I think that moment will be Venom's sacrifice, with the symbiote dying to save Eddie and stop the alien invasion.
You saved me?
It would be extremely sad to see Venom die at the end of the film, as the symbiote and Hardy's Eddie Brock have become an inseparable duo throughout the franchise. However, with an alien invasion happening on Earth, I think that a major sacrifice to stop it would be one of the likely ways to deal with the high stakes that the movie is building up and paying them off in a deeply emotional way. Being the one with powers, Venom dying to save Eddie would make the most sense, and it would allow Hardy to return to the MCU. To this day, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Topher Grace's Venom in 2007's Spider-Man 3 is the only meeting between the comic book rivals in live action. That desperately needs to change, given how Grace's Venom was not one of the film's best parts, and I'm convinced that after the SSU and MCU teased it, a version of Spider-Man could finally meet Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock in Venom: The Last Dance. When he was last seen in Spider-Man No Way Home, Eddie said that it was probably time he went to New York to talk to Spider-Man.
It's about damn time.
I believe that he might do just that. As Venom The Last Dance set video and photos show Eddie Brock in New York City, a curious change in scenery from the San Francisco set SSU franchise. Being the final Venom movie, it would make a lot of sense for Marvel to take the opportunity to set up the next main character in the SSU, and Spider-Man makes most sense. There is a theory that the young boy who appears in the film's trailer is Peter Parker, and a new actor could later be cast as he ages into becoming Spider-Man. I think the future of the SSU hinges on The Last Dance being a massive success. The Venom franchise is the only successful one of the SSU so far, with Morbius and Madam Web bombing at the box office. I believe that if the final Venom film fails to close out the franchise with a bang, the audience will no longer show up for the future SSU releases like Kraven the Hunter, and thus, the shared universe might be forced to end before it can get good. As its name states, Sony's Spider-Man universe needs Spider-Man in order to be a hit. I don't want to see the franchise end before getting the chance to see what the SSU with a new version of the web crawler or the return of one of the 3 live-action Spider-Man actors could look like. For that to happen, The Last Dance has to be a great movie that renews audience enthusiasm for the SSU. And based on the film's first trailer, I'm hopeful that this will be the case, and it could be the best Venom movie yet.
It would be so awesome. It would be so cool.